Back here at the University of Victoria's Ken and Kathy Shield Court at Carsa, as we are set for the final of the 2019 Vikes Alumni High School Basketball Tournament. Ryan Zatmer on the call, and alongside me is former Vike and former and current basketball coach in the community, Davey Sunder. Obviously, Davey, so happy to have you with your plethora of high school knowledge at disposal here as we get set for the 2019 final game here between the Centennial Centaurs, one of the top-ranked teams in the province out of the Lower Mainland, as they take on the longest team to join us here in this tournament to this point in the 4 years, the Fredericton Black Cats, who have come out and have won their first 2 games here this weekend and played very good basketball, and they would like to take this trophy from this tournament all the way back out to the East Coast with them if they could.
Well, cheers, my friend. Thank you for the kind words. It's a pleasure to be back here with you, and it looks like we're going to get the Canadian National Anthem, so I'll say what I have to say after that.
And sorry, Davey, keep going as you were continuing there.
No problem. We're looking at a regional battle here, coast to coast. You mentioned it, Centennial Centaurs out of Coquitlam, British Columbia, the current #1 ranked team in all of this province of British Columbia, against a Fredericton team that we really know little about, but from what we've seen them this weekend, they scored 100 points against Vancouver College, and we saw what they're capable of defensively last game against Claremont. Their attention to detail is second to none. So if you put up 100 points on Van College, you're doing something right. Fredericton known for their up-tempo style and putting points on the board. So anytime you can bring a team from the opposite coast, the East Coast, out here to Victoria to play the #1 ranked team in the province, it's going to be an exciting game. And in the final of a tournament like the UVic Vikes Alumni Basketball Tournament, well, that's got the hair on my arm standing up, partner.
And for Centennial, of course, they've already got 2 signature tournament victories already this season. The Howard Samura tournament, one of the best tournaments known before Christmas to really get the season going, brings in a lot of the top talent from around the province on the Lower Mainland. A few of the island teams, St. Michael's and Claremont, were also involved in this year's tournament. Claremont turned some heads, won a couple big games there, but the Centaurs were the eventual champion of that tournament. And then also, much like the Gary Taylor Classic on Vancouver Island is the signature pre-Christmas tournament right before the holidays, the Pine Tree Tournament has been that for a lot of the Lower Mainland programs, also out of Coquitlam, one of the rival schools to the Centaurs, and they ended up picking up the victory in that tournament as well, defeating the team we just saw out on the court here today, Van College, by about a 30-point margin in that championship. So this is a program that obviously has the ability to put up numbers and really play well against good competition. They came away with the 10-point victory against Claremont last night. It was a battle, but they were able to get the better of the Spartans there.
Yeah,
and they look for their 3rd big tournament win already this tournament season. Sorry, go ahead.
No, really both the Centennial team and Burnaby South have kind of started to separate themselves from the pack here regionally in the province of British Columbia. Centennial currently ranked '1. As we see, number 22, Dominic Parolin, getting the intro. Maybe not unanimously, but recognized as potentially the top player in the province of British Columbia, 6'9" forward, and he can do it all. This Fredericton team going to be in for a battle down low, and you mentioned it, partner. Claremont really was unable to match the size of the Centennial team yesterday in that semifinal matchup. So we'll see if it's the speed and the pace of Fredericton or the size and the strength of Centennial here today. And again, this is a exciting matchup here on December 30th at the University of Victoria. Vikes Alumni basketball tournament.
And you can hear from the crowd that there are some fans here that have come out with the Fredericton Black Cats. Fredericton, one of the largest schools on the East Coast. As they sport, is it, you say, over 1,500 annual students usually go through there in each grade, so it's a massive program.
No shortage on student body there at Fredericton High School.
Big start to the game there for the Centaurs there, as an and one will provide them some momentum, and going to the line to look to finish that off is Leaf Skelding.
Good early battle on the block there from Fredericton High School, limiting the entry pass to Parolin, but Centennial sticking with it, able to track down the offensive rebound. And that's one thing that Fredericton's going to have to be aware of, is the defensive glass. Not only their footwork defensively on Parolin, but taking care of the back end. Unable to do that on the first possession. Skelding with a nice smooth finish through the lane.
Stop there after the and one on the next possession here. And back come the Black Cats.
No time wasted from the team in black, looking to push early. You don't put up 100 points without trying to take quick shots. Of course, within their strategy and their game plan is to attack. I'm sure looking to make the Bigs for Centennial run 90 feet, both on offense and on defense. And for Centennial and Coach Rob Solera, Lucian Sacic as well, a noted drive basketball coach in the spring and summertime. You wonder about their strategy offensively. You see them slow it down here and look to get into their action, and I'm going to expect that throughout the remainder of the game for Centennial to slow it down a little bit and look to grind this Fredericton team on the offensive end. Like contact there, but goes uncalled.
And then back comes Fredericton, initial miss, and unable to finish. The secondary shot there was Aiden McDonald.
Nice rebound by Parolin, controlling that painted area with the outlet dribble and a nice tight chest pass.
And losing that ball there are the Centaurs. Back come the Black Cats. In transition, nice finish this time, as that was number 11, Malcolm Christie. Ties this game up at 3, about 2 minutes into this one.
Malcolm Christie, nice 1-2 step through the lane. Right to left, Euro step with the finish on the left-hand side. And again, Fredericton wasting no time getting up and down the floor.
Good defense there by Fredericton. Remains 3-all, so a couple straight possessions. Nothing doing here for Centennial after that three-point play to start. And Christie with a three-pointer, so 5 straight points for him.
That's a nice-looking stroke from the left-hand side there, pure through the bottom of the mesh. That's the kind of shot that tears up the bottom of the net. Good energy in the building here for the final of the tournament. As you mentioned it, partner, the traveling crowd with Fredericton, and you can imagine families making the trip out west here to cheer on their sons as they play basketball from coast to coast, and Centennial as well with some fans in the house. So noted, palpable energy to start, and you expect that and you hope that for a tournament final.
Yeah, still some great energy despite the 3 local teams not being a part of the final. Obviously, great display of the talent that we had here this week on hand. As you mentioned, Ross Shepherd came here through from Alberta. A couple of the lower mainland powerhouses in Centennial and Van College, as well as a handful of teams from Vancouver Island, but of course, Fredericton making the longest journey out of anyone, coming to us all the way from the east coast of Canada, and off to a good start now, up 8-3, just under 3 minutes in.
Grade 11, Malcolm Christie goes 6'5", deceivingly long, showing the athletic ability after the shooting ability there as he's able to finish in the paint. A little out of control offensively for Centennial, and we haven't seen a ton of Centennial games. Of course, we're located here in Victoria, but they look a little out of sorts here to start this game, partner.
Well, they came out strong with that and one to start the game, but now ever since then have been held off in about 5 straight possessions. So let's see how they fare with a bit of adversity in the early goings here today.
Trying to match the intensity and the tempo of this Fredericton High School Black Cats team.
Obviously, with no other scouting report than the 2 previous games Fredericton has played. So both teams kind of working blindly somewhat, but there's a nice answered there at the top of the key by Parolin.
Nice fundamental basketball. Parolin, 6'9", able to step out in the high post there, catch and square. Get your hand under the ball and knock it in. Nice skills on display from the big man.
Losing the ball underneath there and a fight for it as we see a tie up there between Skelding and Alex Dunn of Fredericton. It'll be Black Cats ball, up by 3, 8-5. 6.5 minutes left in this first quarter. We'll see a substitute in for the first time for Fredericton. That'll be Ethan Tumwine into the game, 6'3", grade 12.
Now this Black Cats team's got 4 or 5 provincial team players out of the province of New Brunswick. I believe Tumwine being one of them. They all represent the province of New Brunswick at the U17 national tournament. So some continuity on this squad as far as school and spring basketball. Talent as well, but Parolin, full skills on display.
Well, that answers the three-pointer hit a moment ago by Jimmy Twang on the other side. And there's another three-pointer as Malcolm Christie now, as he's up to, I believe it's 10 points already in this first half. In this first quarter, I should say. So he has 2 threes and a couple of jumpers to go with
and that's
those.
A pure-looking stroke. Nice wide hand on the ball, rotation, arc, all the above. Grade 11 player, 6'5", Malcolm Christie. I'm impressed. 14 points on the board already, not even halfway through this first quarter. So we mentioned Fredericton scoring 100 points on Van College in last night's semifinal, and I don't know if the Centennial teams had a total like that put up on them yet this year, but
we'll see a charge called against Centennial there, so they go.
I'm not so sure about that one, partner. It looked like Parolin had the angle to the rim, and I'm not sure the defender's feet were set, although I know they don't have to be fully set now. Tough call on the big man.
Would have depended on how much hand there was on the push-off, and back the other way is that's Huang with his second three-pointer of this first quarter as well. Now gives the team from the Atlantic Coast a 9-point lead with 5:32 to go in the first quarter. And Centennial's going to call a timeout, and we're going to take a quick break with that here at the University of Victoria. We'll be back in a moment on sportscanada.tv. Brian Zabner and Davey Sunder back here with you as the Fredericton Black Cats have jumped out to an early 9-point lead over the #1 team in British Columbia, the Centennial Centaurs.
Give ourselves a chance to catch our breath here as we weren't totally sure what to expect, but again, this 7 seconds or less type offense from Fredericton, and when you're making shots from beyond the arc, woo, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
This team has definitely brought their best brand of basketball out to the West Coast so far, as they have been able to walk through their first 2 games in this tournament. Of course, they put up 102 points last night in their semifinal victory against Vancouver College.
Yeah, and you wonder, this Centennial team, again, you noted it, partner, multiple tournament wins here locally as far as this province is concerned. Of course, the scouting report will be limited as far as what to expect from the Black Cats, but Centennial looks like they're on their heels a little bit here, and Fredericton's taking it to them, and I'm not so sure Centennial's been in this position at all this year.
Well, they definitely have been able to run the table so far in the ranks of British Columbia. Lots of good teams that they haven't necessarily dominated, so I'm sure they've dealt with some games where they've had to fight, but these
as far as being down early,
these Black Cats have definitely jumped out on top of them. So again, let's see how they play, because you can kind of see they looked a little bit frustrated heading into that timeout. and almost in a situation that doesn't look like that they've been forced into too often, as you mentioned. So we'll see how they respond here with some adversity in front of them.
Yeah, and Parolin with the soft turnover in transition there with a careless chest pass, looking to head ahead is the right thing to do. But you got to make sure it gets to the recipient. And again, points to ponder as Centennial looks to find their rhythm offensively.
Another turnover.
Active hands again defensively from Fredericton. Done a nice job as well in transition of getting chests behind the ball.
And play in transition there is going to be a block call against Centennial.
Well, I'll tell you what, you love to see this kind of passion and intensity from a team as far away from home as Fredericton, and to be expected when you come to a tournament of this stature here, the Vikes Alumni Tourney. Of course, you mentioned some of the teams in years past that have played in this tournament. Fredericton flying the flag as far as farthest distance traveled this year, but you get a chance to play the #1 team in a province in a tournament final, and that's something to be excited about. Fredericton showing their excitement and their passion for the game and their ability to score the ball here already.
5 threes in the first quarter now for the Black Cats as they have come out absolutely scorching hot. And looks like an over the back call there against Centennial. I think that's going to go against Abekwe.
The 5th team foul on Centennial here already in this first quarter. 3 minutes to go. That's going to send the Black Cats to the line. So as if they weren't shooting hot enough already, they're going to get some free ones from the stripe. Fredericton stand up. Welcome to the final of the Vikes Alumni Basketball Tournament. Bringing rain from coast to coast.
Foul called there. That will go in the other direction now against Fredericton. But they now lead it 24-8 as they have made the #1 team at the quadruple A level in the province look pretty mortal. You got to figure that Fredericton's got to be one of the top 10 ranked teams, and not just New Brunswick, but the entire Atlantic coast.
I tried to dig up some information on this Fredericton team over the last couple days. Looked like there's multiple regional conferences in the province of New Brunswick, but as far as I could see, Fredericton appeared to be undefeated in what was their league play. So, again, I think you're right, partner, in that they must be one of the top-ranked teams in the whole province of New Brunswick.
Parolin with another basket as he's done his best to try and keep his team in it there.
Fredericton out of kind of western New Brunswick, closer to the Maine border. So there's no doubt some competition, I would imagine, against some American schools in that region as well.
That's a good point. Beautiful movement there by the Black Cats, finished off by Norm Burry underneath.
We're going to see some 1-2-2 full court here from the team in black. Trying to keep up the pressure.
And you can see how this team has averaged 100 points in their first 2 games here this weekend. A 98-74 win over Vernon on Saturday, and then, 102-67 over Van College yesterday.
2 quality opponents. Vernon top ranked in AAA, and Van College, we just saw what they did to Claremont here in a close game. Van College nonetheless proving to be the better team here this afternoon. Top 10 team in this province in the 4A division. So now against the #1 team in BC. Fredericton taking it to him here early.
Dominic Parolin has been the one bright spot for Centennial so far in this quarter. He's got 10 of their 13 points.
Yeah, and he's, again, as most would probably rate him the #1 player in this province, or very close to it. Not sure on his post-secondary destination as of yet, but he's got to be high on the radars of the Lower Mainland CIS schools, youth sports schools.
Couple straight baskets here for Centennial, and that's big as they try to gain a measure of momentum back, as we're now just a minute away from the second quarter.
Well, and it's a 4-quarter game, so the first 5 minutes don't make a victory in the game of basketball.
Nice cut to the hole there as Norm Burry shows his athleticism, big 6'4".
Yeah, and
Post.
Centennial's attention to detail defensively, although in transition it can be difficult. In the half court, they've got caught staring at the ball a couple times and beat on the backdoor cuts. So Fredericton, even when they're not playing in full court, showing the ability to score in the half court as well.
Nice fake a pass and take a shot in that situation. as that was Christie again, who I believe already has 3 trays in this first quarter tonight.
Mr. Christie shooting cookies from beyond the arc. Some Chips Ahoy with that one.
And that foul is going to be on the defense, and that will send the Centaurs to the line now, as that puts them into the bonus. 26.9 seconds left, and again, it'll be their stud, number 22, Dominic Parolin, taking the shots.
Yeah, it's been Skelding and Parolin leading the charge here for Centennial, although it hasn't been much of one to start. Down 16 here at the end of the first quarter, and you wonder again about the mentality of Centennial going into this quarter break, and we'll keep an eye on their huddle and the words that Coach Solero and Coach Socic might have for their players. The Parolin doing his best to right the ship here, as you would expect from a player as highly rated as he is. Played this entire first quarter, and you can expect him to go close to the full 40, I'm sure, here in the final.
He's got 80% of his team's production so far tonight, but they are going to have to try and find a way to guard that man, as that young man now with 4 threes and 16 points in the first quarter, and almost matching the entire Centennial squad at that, 34-17, as the Fredericton Black Cats are off and running yet again here this afternoon.
The Malcolm Christie show in that first quarter. Wow, what an impressive shooting display. And Centennial, take a deep breath and regroup, get a high hand on the shooter and force him off the line. Let's see what he's got at the front of the rim. Centaurs finding themselves stuck 17 here, and I wonder what can they do to regroup.
Well, we will find out in a minute, Davey, as we will take a quick break on SportsCanada.tv. We'll be back with the second quarter of action between Centennial and Fredericton in just a moment. Welcome back to SportsCanada.tv. Ryan Zapmary and Davey Sunder here with the finals of the 2019 Vikes Alumni High School Tournament. Some of the best talent in this province as well as in this country on display here today, as we see the Fredericton, New Brunswick Black Cats. Great program out of the East out here, and right now they are manhandling the number 1 team in the province in British Columbia, 34-17 after 1. It's Centennial's ball to start the second quarter. They'll have that ball tipped off. They'll keep it with 12 seconds on the baseline.
We haven't seen much from the supporting cast of Centennial, as number 15, Paul Didenko, unable to get that lay-in to go. It's been the Skelding Parolin show, although the show and the lights haven't been shining that bright as of yet. From the Black Cats shooting ability from distance, and I'm impressed with what I see from Black Cats number 15, Norm Burry, undersized at 6'4" against the 6'8" Parolin, but a wide body, and he's been able to bang on the block, so to speak, and make the entry passes difficult for Parolin. Parolin been able to find some rhythm from the perimeter, but again, I'd like to see Centennial continue to try and work the ball down low, maybe even draw a foul or two on Burry, as he's working hard to prevent those entry passes to Parolin. He's done a nice job thus far. Little shooter play off end out of bounds for Skelding.
Parolin not able to go around his defender there with the shot clock running down.
Again, big Norm Burry doing an excellent job of bodying up on the block and just making it difficult. Something to be said about playing with energy and effort, not only on the perimeter, but on the block defensively when you're playing a big man like Parolin. And Norm Burry's done an excellent job thus far.
He gives up about 4 inches in the post there, but Burry looks like he's got a little bit more size on him.
Not afraid to bang, which you appreciate from a post defender.
Baseline jumper won't go this time. Good defense on that set by the Centaurs as they get it back, trying to work their way back from, let's say, 17-point deficit, as it was some lights-out shooting in that first quarter by the Black Cats. Parolin misses his first, gets his second. 14 of his team's 19 points thus far, Davey.
Much better focus and attention to detail offensively for Centennial. Work the ball inside. Burry's done a nice job, but he can't do it for 40 minutes. He's going to get tired. He's going to get fouls. Parolin, we know, can go the full 40 at the pace that he's playing at now. Centennial got to stick with it and keep working the ball in there.
And Burry whistled for the travel in there as he was able to get the rebound around two Centaurs there. But
yeah, Centennial fortunate on that one. Didenko, number 15, 6'5" forward. And Centennial, no lack of size. Parolin, 6'8", Ibekwe, 6'7", Didenko, 6'5". And sometimes size doesn't always show its advantage early in basketball games. It's a long-term game when you're the bigger team.
Open look won't fall there for the Centaurs. That was Markowicz.
And again, going back to that size point, it's the hot shooting of Fredericton that's got them out to this early lead, and Centennial found themselves a little out of sorts.
Christie on the follow as well there, so he's doing it on all parts of the game.
Smooth operator offensively. He seems to find himself in the right place at the right time there. You mentioned it, partner, able to dig out the offensive rebound and lay it in with really nobody around him.
Contact to the head there will send Kyle Jang to the line for the Centaurs.
Good awareness off the ball from Jang. Hard backdoor cut, bounce pass, finish strong. Better basketball from Centennial over the last couple of minutes. Got to regain their focus defensively and on the defensive backboards. And they should be able to work themselves back into this. Chase shooters off the line, take care of the defensive glass, and work the ball inside out.
And Jang's going to get his own rebound back there. Markowicz holds it. Gets it back outside. It's Didenko. Step back. And that three will be drained by Skelding. And Skelding had that three-point play to start this game. I don't think he's been on the score sheet since.
He's a nice player for this Centennial team. Nice 1-2 punch. Skelding and Parolin. Skelding with a smooth step back there. Nice snap to the target.
But there is the big man, Norm Burry. He's been banging down low for the better part of this game, but he shows even he provides a touch for this Fredericton team. Seems like everybody can shoot from range.
And I'll tell you what, that's impressive from a big man like Burry to use the energy that he has to use defensively to bang with the big man Parolin, and then able to step up and knock in the three at the other end. That's not an easy thing to do. And I think you hit the nail on the head, partner. It seems like everybody on this Black Cats team's got the green light. You don't score 100 points without everybody being able to put the ball in the hole in high school 10-minute quarters. So impressive start from the Black Cats.
And good ball hawk there by Christie. And again, he is proving himself to be quite the star here this weekend. Another basket from him, and the speed shown on that time to the hoop. I think that only took about 2 dribbles to go coast to coast.
Nice finish from Christie, an athletic finish. Looked like his hand was up above the rim on that one.
Skelding using the bank to his advantage there as he brings his team back to within 15, 41-26. 6 minutes to go in this first half. Let's see how this final 6 or so minutes closes here. If the Centaurs can get some stops and bring this back to a manageable deficit, or if the Black Cats are going to continue to shoot the lights out. Well, that's the first thing that the former needs there as Parolin gets another hoop.
Yeah, we saw the missed three-point shot last time down, a quick triggered three-point shot, and oftentimes percentages in basketball will always reign true to the mean, and a hot start can often lead to a slow second half. So I'm sure the Black Cats want to go a little deeper into their offensive sets here to settle themselves down.
And there's Parolin, who's going to be whistled on an offensive foul as he runs over his defender. I believe that was Burry again taking it. And
yeah, a little overzealous from Parolin there. Really no angle to attack. Kind of spinning out of control through the lane. And Burry with maybe one of the easiest charges he's going to get as he just moved his feet one step to the left, going the other way.
So it's a 13-point game, 41-28. Fredericton leads Centennial. 5:27 to go in this first half. We'll take another break and be back with you in a moment on SportCanada.tv. We resume here with Fredericton taking the ball on their own baseline. And 41 points in 15 minutes so far in this first half.
And I was thinking back to my days as Claremont assistant coach, Claremont head coach. I remember going back to 2009, playing against the likes of Lamar Durant for this Centennial secondary school team, and I don't see him on the bench here. Again, a 30-plus point per game scorer in his time, but Centennial going to have to do it as a group here and starts on the defensive end.
Durant, of course, was a two-sport star, ended up heading, eventually making his way to the CFL, played receiver for the Stampeders, if I'm not mistaken.
And I can remember watching him score 65 points in I believe, Gary Taylor tournament game. Forget who the opponent was, but nonetheless, a scoring star likes of Diego Mafia, kind of Guild back in the, going back a decade now, partner. Wow.
And of course, the UVic Vikes, as you mentioned, Diego, have been very prominent here this weekend. Actually, we see Scott Kellum and Graham Hidley running the game clock there on the opposite end there, as they've all been very involved in helping this tournament. Obviously, the Vikes, the main sponsor here this weekend. And there's Pearland with another jumper. And all of a sudden, Davey, that is a 9-0 run for the Centaurs over the last couple of minutes here as the Fredericton shooting percentage has come back down to earth a little bit as...
You get a turnover, you get a good set offensively. Pearland playing with some patience on the block. Good timeout there from Coach Solero to settle his troops down after the offensive foul from Pearland. And looks like Centennial starting to find their rhythm a little bit for this game here, settling into the pocket of basketball.
Well, they're closer than they've been since about the midway mark of that first quarter. And there's a three there by Markowitz. And that makes it a 6-point game, 41 to
nice use of the
35,
ball fake.
as this has now been moved to a 12-0 run.
And you don't expect the number one team in the province to go down quietly. And as you said, the return to the mean on the percentages from beyond the arc here for Fredericton. And Centennial finding their rhythm offensively, as you would expect a top-ranked team in any province to do.
So another turnover there by Fredericton, as their fan base has gone a little quiet here on this near side of Carsa. Obviously, as we said, good 20 or so fans. Sounds like they've made the journey out west with their family.
They were rocking to start the game, but again,
as were the Black Cats.
Back to reality here. They've missed their last 2 or 3 three-point attempts, although I think maybe big man Norm Breary made one from the top of the key there. So 1 for 4 in their last 4 or 5, 1 for 5. We haven't seen Christie as involved offensively here in the last couple of possessions. You wonder what kind of action they might run for him to get a look.
A little bit of a bailout possession there as Pearland tried the long shot. Nobody really underneath rebounding as Fredericton takes it back. There's Christie with the ball, but he loses it off of his knee. And
good dig from the weak side by number 14 there, Braden Markowicz. Getting some energy off that made three and translating that into the defensive end.
They brought it defensively these last couple of minutes here. No more easy looks from the outside as they've tightened up. And as you said, now they are firmly right back into this game.
Looks like the Centaurs have woken up.
And now another foul that will send Skelding to the line.
Skelding's shifty off the dribble. He's got the ability to penetrate and break down the defense. We've seen him flail a little bit around the rim, but he's definitely got the ability to attack and score. And a good 1-2 punch, Skelding and Pearland. Here's this shooter end out of bounds action again. Going to go away from him, though.
Shot from distance is good by Skelding. And it is now a one-possession game after what has been a 15-0 run midway through this second quarter.
A good patience offensively from Centennial there. They look to move the ball side to side, coming back to Skelding, the inbounder. Pearland didn't rush the shot from the corner, and Skelding able to knock it in.
Another opportunity for Skelding. He can't get the floater to go. As Fredericton has gone super cold from the floor the last couple of minutes after shooting the lights out through the first 15. I don't think they've scored since about the mid-5-minute mark here, Davey.
Yeah, they haven't done a ton in the half court offensively. Centennial's done a nice job of tracking back in transition.
And not another great possession on that situation there. Is a bit of a desperation jumper there by Tumwine.
And you always wonder about a team that starts off shooting hot and wants to get out in transition. A team the quality of Centennial has the ability to rewrite the ship, so to speak, and they've done that defensively here. Made it difficult for the team from Fredericton, and we've seen their offensive half-court offense let them down a little bit here in the back half of the second quarter.
3-point game. Centennial wants to take a timeout with $1:36 to go in the second quarter. We'll be back on SportsCanada.tv in just a minute. Minute 36 to go in the first half, and I'd like to thank you for joining us again on SportCanada.tv here as we bring you the finals of the 2019 Vikes Alumni Holiday Basketball Tournament from the University of Victoria. This is now the fourth incarnation of this tournament, started since the years that the Vikes have been here at the Carsa facility. Ryan Zamary and Davey Sunder alongside me.
We see Parolin check out for the first time. What a luxury for Centennial to be able to go from Parolin 6'8" to Abekwe 6'7". We'll see if they can continue their positive momentum with Parolin on the bench here now.
Christie's fouled in transition, so he'll get his first chance to get his team some points in several minutes, as what was once an 18-point advantage, 41-23 after a three-pointer made by Norm Burry, has evaporated down to just a 3-point lead. So now Centennial has firmly brought themselves back into a game where it looked like they might already be having to pay some serious catch-up, but at this point they've already done the heavy lifting, and now we should be in for hopefully a good second half.
Nice response from a quality team. You don't get ranked number one in a province by rolling over. So again, Centennial maybe an unfamiliar position, being down 15, 17 points, but they've done a nice job of staying with it, of guarding hard, of limiting the transition opportunities of Fredericton, and offensively inside out with Parolin and Skelding. And we see some of the complementary players now stepping up.
Paul Didenko with a shot there, the 6'5", grade 12. Brings it back to a one-possession game. We're under a minute left in this first half as Fredericton holds the ball in a three-point advantage.
And with Parolin out of the game now, Centennial going to a 2-3 zone, which can be dangerous against a shooting team like Fredericton, but
wonderful job of holding the ball up high and getting the shot to go by Christie, as I believe he's closing in on 20 points in this first half.
Nicely done. Move the ball side to side, flash to the high post from the weak side, keep the ball up like you mentioned, partner, and knock it in. Good zone attack offense from the Fredericton Black Cats.
21 seconds on the shot clock, 31 and a half on the game clock here in the first half. So we'll see if Centennial decides to go for a 2-for-1, or no, I guess they won't at this point. So they'll hold it for this possession. It looks like Fredericton might get one last chance with the ball.
Yeah, you don't often want to play too frantic in high school. 2-for-1 is great at the pros, and at the college level it can be difficult at 2-for-1 opportunities in high school. And
there's a turnover. And in transition, nice move and finish there by Terry Cho as he puts Fredericton back up by 7, as the first half will come to a close with that. So the Centaurs bring it to as close as 3 points after trailing it by as many as 18. Davey, 4-0 run provides just a slight bit of momentum back to the Black Cats as they head into halftime, up by 7, as they're 20 minutes away from possibly pulling off a trio of victories over teams from British Columbia, and hoping to take this 4th annual Vikes Alumni Championship trophy back with them to New Brunswick.
Ooh, the Black Cats are out here burning rubber, aren't they? Letting it fly early and often. Got off that hot shooting start, cooled off in the second quarter. Centennial able to make their way back into this game. Again, you would expect that from the number 1 ranked team in this province. Parolin went out late there, and Fredericton was able to make a couple baskets, namely against a 2-3 zone. So setting up for a good second half to what's been a quality tournament and some high-quality basketball here this afternoon.
So I'll do it for the first half for us. We're going to take a break here on SportsCanada.tv. As we mentioned, 7-point game between Centennial and Fredericton. But Davey and I will be back with the second half of action between these squads in just a few minutes. Ryan Zabri and Davey Sunder back here with you on SportCanada.tv this afternoon. Happy to come to you from the University of Victoria as we are set for the final half of action here in the 2019 UVic Alumni Basketball Tournament for some of the top high school programs around this province as well as throughout this country as the Fredericton, New Brunswick Black Cats lead the Centennial Centaurs by a 47-40 score. And Ryan Zabri and Davey Sunder on the call here today. And Davey, Centennial really fell behind 34-17 after one quarter, but the number one team in the province bounced back well in that second quarter as they ended up outscoring Fredericton 23-13 and have made a game of it here in this second half.
I tell you what, are you not entertained? What great basketball we've had there this afternoon and now into this evening as we get the fantasy matchup, if you will, Black Cats versus Centaurs, and it's lived up to the hype. Number one team in this province of British Columbia, the Centennial Centaurs, against the highly ranked, highly touted up-tempo basketball team from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Fredericton High School. And we've got a good one on our hands here. Centennial able to dig themselves out of that early hole. The hot shooting of Fredericton cooled off in that second quarter, and we got a barn burner here, my friend.
Paul Didenko with a nice low post move to start the second half for Centennial, and then they get a stop, so they can bring this back to one possession here on this next set.
Good strong finish from Didenko last time down. Parolin a little quick on the trigger there from the high post. We saw him make that shot in the first half. I don't think he had it fully caught there that time.
Norm Burry there in transition with a hoop for Fredericton.
A workman-like player, Norm Burry. Got his hard hat on out there, guarding hard on the block, knocking in a three in that first half.
Yeah, he showed his touch from the outside as well.
Finishing strong at the rim there.
And another beautiful cut there by Leif Skelding as he really stepped up in that second quarter. A couple outside shots, a couple nice cuts, and you see the tenacity in the way he plays defense on display right now.
Nice 1-2 punch this Centennial team has with Skelding and Parolin. Skelding brings that intensity and that fire, and we can see his passion for the game of basketball every time he's on the floor. Smooth operator through the lane as well with the left hand, sweep and score.
And there's Parolin making it another, they're going to call that a three.
It looked like from beyond the arc to me, partner.
That is, so it's going to be a 2-point game now, 49-47.
Full skill on display from Parolin as we saw Bogue and Holt in that first matchup. 2 6'9" forward players step out and knock in three-point shots. It's really kind of a necessity to forward games now in modern basketball. We've seen that kind of creep into the game from Europe more so as big people being able to step out and knock in the jump shot. Parolin proving that he can do it too.
Trying the tough fadeaway there that won't go, so it remains a 2-point lead for Fredericton. Burry again underneath, kicks it back out. And the standout from the first half there was Christie as kicks it back out to Burry with his second three as the 6'4" grade 12, Norm Burry, showing what he can do on both the inside and beyond the arc.
Nice relocation from Burry, didn't stand and stare. Find some space and knock it in.
And there's Skelding who hits the three and is then going to pick up a taunting technical following that.
Well, we mentioned his passion. It's on display here and a little maybe too excited after the three-point shot made. Again, as we mature in our basketball years, hopefully he'll channel that, move forward positively.
And
I don't mind the fire, but
not able to get the technical to penalize the Centaurs there, though, was Malcolm Christie.
Yeah, and at the high school level and the college level as well, you can't use any kind of language that's inappropriate for the basketball floor in the high school level. Same goes for the BCCA and the youth sports. So anytime any kind of language is used, it should be a technical foul, and I think the referee's just explaining that to the Centennial bench.
Well, maybe more importantly for that, though, for Centennial, is I didn't notice Skelding in any sort of foul trouble in that first half, but it counts as a personal foul, so obviously that goes, one of the 5 are now gone for him, so obviously he can't pick up any ticky-tack or bad fouls out there now with a foul called due to a technical foul on a taunt. And tough move in the paint and a finish from Aiden McDonald as it's a 54-50 game, 6.5 to go, but these two teams going mano-y-mano now in the second half. And look at the elevation on that play by Didenko as he's showing his hops off a couple times early on in this second half.
Didenko, strong take there. Couldn't really find his rhythm offensively in the first half, but that's 2 impressive takes here to start the third quarter. Didenko, get up and put it down.
Fredericton with a second chance opportunity, but they give it away. Here comes Skelding yet again. One-on-one with his defender. Can't get it to go, still loose. Finally grabbed by the Black Cats.
Yeah, it looked like he might have blown a tire a little bit on that logo. We've seen that in U-Sports play.
Nice pass there by Christie. Figured he was going to go up with his left, passes it over to his teammate McDonald. Great facilitation there.
We didn't see much of McDonald in the first half. 6'3" guard forward, grade 11 player, but making an impact running the floor here in the third quarter.
From distance in the corner, though, it's Braden Markowitz as the 5'11" swing guard makes it a 1-point game, 56-55.
Well, this is entertaining basketball. Tournament final, top teams, coast to coast. This is what you want to see.
Beautiful movement there by Fredericton as both these teams really firing on all cylinders now, Davey. This is a battle.
Trading blows end to end. We wonder which team's going to step up more so defensively. Obviously, neither team lacking on the offensive end, but it's been
Dominic Parolin, nice turnaround.
He's been able to go to work out of that high post. Haven't seen much from him on the low block, but it's that high post, mid-post range where Parolin's been effective.
Another hoop for Bury. Timeout finally called by Coach Rob Solero and his Centennial Centaurs. But it's a game, folks, 60-57. As with just over 15 minutes left of this one, I would not go anywhere.
Wow, hot start to the third quarter, and let's take a breath and regroup for ourselves here too.
We'll take that breath. We'll be right back with you on SportCanada.tv just after this timeout. All right, Zabari, Davey Sunderbeck here with you on SportsCanada.tv. The finals of the 2019 Vikes Alumni High School Basketball Tournament. Fredericton, New Brunswick Black Cats lead the Centennial Centaurs out of Coquitlam in Vancouver in a score of 60-57.
Both teams with the willingness to play up and down here in the third quarter and the full offensive array on display. Supporting cast for both squads. Number 14, Aiden McDonald. Markowitz, number 14 as well, in white.
Spot shot from beyond the arc is good for Leif Skelding as he draws this game even at 60. A little bit of a noticeable thing that happened during the timeout, though, was Davey and I noticed is that Dominic Parolin was replaced on the court. Number 23, Casey Ebekwe, in to take over for him, and he's right now sitting behind the team bench. Looked like he was holding his thigh as Ebekwe does his job as he gets an and one here on their second offensive set since coming into the game, but looks like he might have been holding either his thigh or his
like knee potentially, right leg, mid leg. So we'll keep our eye on Parolin behind the Centennial bench.
The team trainer is just working on him a bit there, and they had some ice, and now he's doing a little bit of a
could have been a knee on knee
run,
most likely. We'll cross our fingers for that as a
doesn't seem to be
contact injury.
Dealing with a limp as he's trying to run it off there behind the team bench, but we'll see if Parolin does return to this game.
But going back to Ebekwe with a nice big ball screen right in the middle of the floor and the hard roll. Hands ready, finish strong, nicely done from the 6'7" forward KC Ebekwe, grade 10 player for this Centennial Centaurs team.
Jumper there is good for Christie as Malcolm Christie had that outstanding start to the game. I think he had 3 threes and about 16 points in that first quarter. I think he's closing in on the 30-point mark now as we get close to the fourth. Beautiful reverse there by Skelding as now Centennial has their first lead of, I believe, since that 3-0 lead to begin the game. They had that 3-point play right off of the hop there that was scored, and then I don't think they had another lead in that first half, because that's really when Christie and his squad took over, as he draws this game back even at 65.
Yeah, it looks like Skelding and Christie are matched up, at least on one end defensively. Skelding picking up Christie that time down, and Skelding continues to chat a little bit on the defensive end, and Christie did his talking with the three-point shot there that time. Keep an eye on the matchup here as well, as again it was Skelding who looked to get into McDonald there last time down, but they're going to switch their matchup here, as looks like Didenko is going to pick up McDonald. Some more size on the three-point shooter. Parolin checks back into the game, so must have been a knock, probably a contact. And I won't say injury, but a contact feeling, if you will, and he seems to be showing no signs of wear now out there.
And again, Christie, his athleticism on display there, gets the shot to go, puts Fredericton back up by a pair.
Well, and Parolin goes a solid 6'8", I would say almost 6'9", with the long arms as well, and McDonald shoots over top of him as if he's not even there. Excellent skill, focus, and concentration from the wing player, Aiden McDonald. And I think you're right, partner. We don't have the running stats here in front of us for our broadcast here this evening, but McDonald's got to be close to 30, if not over at this point.
Christie, you mean, sorry.
Christie,
yeah,
sorry.
No problem. Mm-hmm. Skelding there. Good up and under move, gets it over to Abekwe. Beautiful assist there by Leaf Skelding.
A little extra sauce on that one from Skelding with the shot fake and the underhand shovel pass. Tough pass to catch. Abekwe, grade 10 forward with his hands ready. Nicely done. Soft hands at the front of the rim.
And tough shot there by Norm Burry. Good footwork, but a little short on that fadeaway.
How many fadeaways can one team make over a player that's 6'9"?
And Parolin there misses the layup, though he did have two defenders in front of him. As Centennial kind of going with the two big man front here, as Parolin and Abekwe both in it. And that was a bit of a high-low post action there, as we saw Parolin get it into Abekwe. Abekwe's played well in this quarter since Parolin went out for that moment, though, so kind of makes sense that they should both remain.
Yeah, you wonder what their action is. Two forward sets, 6'7", 6'9", nice entry pass, high-low. You hit the nail on the head there when the action partner. Abekwe just little quick to go with the right-hand jump hook. Again, you'd like to see him target and finish strong over the front of the rim with the smaller defender on him down low.
Burry offering the screen to Christie, but he can't hit the three this time.
And we haven't seen Christie really be effective from distance off the dribble. Maybe one part of his game, more of a catch and shoot transition player.
Yeah.
They've been good off flex screen action, able to get him in the mid post, and he's shown touch with the fadeaway action in and around the rim. But again, off the dribble, we haven't seen that part of his game quite yet.
Swung across, open look, can it? As that was Paul Didenko. We've seen him with a couple of nice moves on the inside, and again, both teams are complemented by the fact that almost each player on the court, I might argue that Abekwe probably lives in the post most often, but almost everybody on both teams has a touch from the outside. That is deadly, and the reason why both of these teams are in the finals here today.
Definitely skill to go for both squads, top to bottom, 1 through 5, 1 through 4 for Centennial. And Didenko's really stepped up here in this third quarter. He made a difference early. He had almost a two-hand dunk there one time through the lane. He's done a nice job, a better job on Christie defensively at times here, and knocked in the three, a little awkward on the release, but hey, points are points.
Another three-pointer there is good, as Skelding has gotten scalding hot in this third quarter.
Woo! Careful, don't touch that hand when he's shooting fire like that. Skelding using that passion to fuel his charge on the offensive end.
Burry with a bit of a settle shot there, as not much was developed on that set for Fredericton, and now all of a sudden, Centennial holds the final possession of this quarter. After trailing it by 7 coming in, they look like they might take an 8-point lead into this next final 10 minutes. As Burry with a desperation shot at the death, as Centennial comes out and they put up a 35 spot in that third quarter. As it just goes to show you can't keep a good dog down for long, Davey, as they outscore Fredericton by a score of 35-20 in that third set, and they now flip the script. It will be the Black Cats having to make a comeback in the final stanza.
Well, the real Leaf Skelding sure stood up in that third quarter as he was somewhat limited offensively in the first half, but he made that three, got the technical, but I think it got him charged up a little bit and refocused and energized, and Leaf Skelding really leading the way for this Centennial team. Again, the 1-2 punch, Skelding and Parolin with the Denko mixed in.
So we'll take a quick break on SportCanada.tv. We'll come back with the final 10 minutes between the Centaurs and the Black Cats in the Vikes Alumni Tournament in just a minute. Ryan Zammer and Davey Sender back here on SportsCanada.tv as we are just about to start the final quarter of the tournament final here today between the Fredericton, New Brunswick Black Cats and the Centennial Centaurs. Centennial coming to this tournament out of Coquitlam on the Lower Mainland with the #1 ranking in the province, but there's a turnover to start the quarter as it's Christie showing his hops too. We've seen him as a shooter, but number 11, Malcolm Christie, the 6'5" guard.
I wondered if he had that verticality. We saw him with a lay-in in the first half, and I was looking forward to another opportunity, and that was with authority well above the rim. Ethan Christie bringing the thunder from the East Coast.
And that's a foul on Christie on the swat there. He didn't like it. He said he missed the defender, but wasn't great defense, so sometimes that's also just going to get you knocked on the foul.
Malcolm Christie, my apologies. I'm excited after seeing a throwdown like that here this afternoon. We've been treated to some quality basketball here, my friend, at the UVic Vikes Alumni Basketball Tournament.
Yeah, we had a good opportunity to broadcast the 3-4 game here today. It was a battle between two of the top 6 teams in the province. Number 6, Van College, taking down number 4, local Claremont, by a 87-79 score, but that game was still up in the air until the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Back and forth throughout.
And this one looks like it might not be done yet either, as what was once almost a 20-point lead in the first half for Fredericton has now turned into a Centennial advantage. Christie with the miss on that 3, and it's rebounded by Parolin, who has really come to play here today, showcasing why he's one of the top recruits in British Columbia basketball.
Clean the glass there defensively. Nice elevator action. First time we've really seen Fredericton run some scripted half-court offense, and they were unable to convert.
Leaf Skelding has also put on a display here in this second half, showing what he has on the outside, and that was a beautiful take in reverse and using the contact and still getting the hoop to go.
Skelding's an impressive basketball player. We've seen him play with fire. He's shown a full offensive repertoire, been able to knock down shots from distance off the dribble, and finishes smoothly through the lane with the left hand. Leaf Skelding, the full offensive arsenal on display. And you wonder, we've seen Skelding and Christie really go head-to-head. Parolin's done a nice job. Burry's, tried to match him defensively, and might be up to who on the supporting cast of both squads is going to step up and make that big play at the critical time.
Well, we saw the Black Cats get off to such a hot start in this game. 34 points after 1 quarter here today, as they looked like they were off and running. They averaged exactly 100 points, 98 in their first game, 102 in their second, in their first 2 games here this weekend. But then all of a sudden, that second quarter, Centennial clamped down on their defensive end, only allowed 13 points. They got 20 in the third quarter, but when that was going up against 35 from the Centaurs, it's found them now playing from behind in this final half. But there's Norm Burry, big man with another shot. That's his 3rd 3 here today, as he's catching up on his guard Malcolm Christie's total from beyond the arc.
Well, we expected this to be a quality tilt, but this is turning out to be a heavyweight back and forth battle.
Steal and foul there as Jackson Sweetland will get a chance to from the foul line now for Fredericton, as we're down to the final 7:45 of this game, And just 7 points separates the number 1 team in British Columbia and arguably one of the best teams on the Atlantic coast, the Fredericton Black Cats.
Wonder about the supporting cast here as Alex Dunn sent to the line. 6-foot guard started this game. We haven't seen a ton of them on the offensive end. We saw Kyle Jang, number 4 for the team in White Centennial, make a driving basket in the time offensive possession before that as he turns the ball over.
Another turnover there. Yeah, sorry, and by previously there, I thought that was Sweetland. I thought I saw an 8, but you're right. That was
we're
number
up in the
6.
rafters here. It's tough to see.
Don't have as good a vision as I would from our normal spot for the Vikes. But what I do have vision for is that these two teams look like they're going to keep fighting down the stretch here, Davey. It's just a 3-point game once again, 80-77, 7:37 to go on the court. Timeout called. And we're going to take a break, but be back with you again in a moment on sportscanada.tv. Ryan Zamiri and Davey Sunder back on SportsCanada.tv. It's the finals of the 2019 Vikes Alumni Tournament here from Carsa at the University of Victoria. As the Centennial Centaurs, number 1 team in British Columbia, hold a 3-point advantage, but some good pressing there by Fredericton causes the turnover, and the Black Cats will regain possession in the front court. They'll get 18 on their shot clock.
Yeah, we've seen Fredericton ramp up the intensity in the full court here, picking up man-to-man. Christie with a steal 2 possessions ago, and they're able to create the turnover here again. Centennial not matching that intensity in the full court, so Fredericton looking to flip the script again, but Skelding stepping up on D with the swat and the rejection.
Moving the ball in the front court, Skelding. It's worked across, and that's tipped out as it was last touched by Casey Ibekwe. And that'll return the ball to the Black Cats.
Tough catch for the big man. He was in the right place, found the space. Centennial staff not happy about the call as far as I think they were thinking there was a deflection off the Fredericton team there, but from our angle, it looked like it went off the big man of Beckwith.
Well, it looked like a tip, and it was the right call.
Tough one nonetheless.
Christie can't hit the 3 from beyond the arc. Yeah, Bikway's long reach there out on him.
Yeah, a bit of a settle from distance there. Again, we haven't seen it from Christie off the dribble as much from distance. It's been slashing and catching and shooting. Smooth player nonetheless.
And we'll have a foul prior to the shot up. And they'll keep the ball in the hands of the Centaurs on the sidelines. 19 seconds remain on the shot clock.
I'd like to see Centennial work the ball into Pearland here. We haven't seen him with a catch on the low block, possibly because Norm Purry's done an excellent job of rooting him out of the low post, but we talked about it in the Claremont Van College game. You don't want to go away from your big people.
Missed there by Markowitz, but rebounded by the Centaurs as they have just been a little bit better at getting after the ball in this second half. And now take a 5-point advantage, 82-77.
And I tell you what, Ibikwe, being one of the biggest guys on the floor, seems to find himself alone more often than not around the rim there. Excellent positioning from the youngster, just grade 10, making a difference here for Centennial in the fourth quarter. He's been able to catch some tough passes down low. One of the most difficult things for big men to do is catch and then turn around and finish.
He was whistled on the hold there off ball, so he gets the foul. But look at that as Pearland gets the steal right off the inbounds. Beautiful move with the footwork. His footwork is about as good as it can get for a big man, wouldn't you say, Davey?
Wow, you've seen big people, all high school players miss that shot more often than not in transition that way. 6'9", Dominic Pearland, stop, spin, finish.
Big shot the other way, though, is done. Gets it done from beyond the oh, you see what I did there? Didn't even mean
nicely
to.
done.
Hey!
Here we go. Now we're feeling our flow.
Here we go. It's a 4-point game. Scandling to the hole gets fouled.
been one of those games out here today. Both teams willing to trade back and forth. I'm sure both coaches would like to see a little more attention to detail defensively, but when you've got scorers on the floor like you do out here, then you might as well let the horses run. And
you questioned it, Davey. It's a possibility. We talk about Centennial, well, maybe Century, as both of these teams can put up offensive numbers, and there's still a shot that one or both of these teams could end up with 100 points again here today. But it'll depend on how both teams defend, as well as what legs they have left in the shooting game in this final 5+ minutes with 5:39 to go. And foul called on that miss, so it'll be Fredericton ball down 5, 85-80.
Yeah, and I'd like to see one of our friends, and personal friend of both of ours, Jamie Clegg, there with some words of encouragement for Leaf Skelding, just reminding him to play with passion, play with fire, but don't go past the point. Nice conversation between player and referee last time down.
And there's a great job of rebounding, as well as going back up there by Aiden McDonald. Is just 6'3", was somehow able to manage his way to get that rebound in amongst the trees.
McDonald had an impact in the third quarter with a couple lay-ins in transition, a starting forward player for this Fredericton team. Again, not a ton of action in that first half, but he's made a difference here in the second half. Able to dig that one out of there and in and around the painted area. Plays much bigger than his 6'3" frame would indicate. And this whole Fredericton team's really been smooth from the free throw line. Of course, you would expect that when they shoot as well as they do from beyond the arc, but the shooting ability is translated to the free throw line as well.
McDonald makes both shots from the line. It's a one-possession game, 85-82. Markowitz finds Skelding cutting, but he decides to go back out with it. Didenko passes it off to Parolin, and he makes no mistake from the baseline. Got to think Parolin is over 30 points now on the stat line today, Davey, maybe even closing in on 40.
Parolin, nice touch out of the short corner there, playing big to big.
Oh, and a great job
basketball.
Of sealing off the defender there by Christie and using the right hand, left hand going up, right hand being the left hand in this situation. And
outside shoulder, finish strong, take the contact. Christie with the full skills on display.
That was the fourth team foul against Fredericton, so Centennial will shoot on the next defensive foul. Fredericton now into the bonus themselves. Centennial already with 5 in this fourth quarter. Parolin misses that jumper. Didn't have anybody there underneath rebounding, so obviously had confidence in his own shot there, but rims
Bit of
out.
a settle that time down, I think, from Parolin. Maybe feeling the flow offensively, but I thought they could have got a better look than that.
Burry fires it hard to the hole. He's got a very quick first step.
For a big man out there, he moves smoothly. Nice finish, keeping the ball up through the paint, not allowing the guards to dig and reach. Finishing strong with the right hand. Again, good fundamentals on the outside shoulder.
And Parolin defended well by Burry there again.
Yeah, some heavy leg shots here last 2 times down from Parolin. Burry's been leaning on him for the entire 36 minutes and might be going to show here.
And a beautiful big make there by Aiden McDonald. Gets the end one, puts Fredericton back up. He can make it a 2-point advantage from the free throw line.
Wow, this Fredericton team just won't go away, will they? Strong start. Centennial flipped it on them there a little bit in this fourth quarter, but Burry and McDonald really tailing what Malcolm Christie's been able to do throughout this game. And what a game we got here, partner.
Just under 4 minutes to go. It's still anyone's guess who's going to take away the championship here today.
I'd like to see the ball in Skelding's hands at some point here. Here we go.
He has it.
Horns action, flare screen.
And they're going to whistle him on the offensive foul as the defender was going up but was stationary, had his position, and now we'll have a timeout called on the floor with 3:41 to go. Fredericton up 2 and with the ball. When we come back, we'll take another break. Be back with you in a moment on SportsCanada.tv. Brian Zatmary and Davey Sunder back with you here on SportsCanada.tv, and we have been treated to an excellent final here today, partner, as it has been a back-and-forth affair. Fredericton held a sizable lead in the first half. It evaporated, and they ended up trailing by as many as 8 earlier on in this quarter to the number 1 team in the province, but they have the ball back at a 2-point advantage after a great last few minutes of play.
Tournament final, Victoria Alumni, Victoria Alumni basketball tournament.
And there's another big shot there. That's off of Terry Choi, and he makes it a 92-87 game. So now it's Centennial having to play comeback yet again. As we'll have a foul called on Malcolm Christie there.
Blow for blow, shot for shot. Fredericton a long way from home, but they're feeling comfortable. They're feeling the flow. Everybody contributing now.
Well,
Wow.
We talked about it from the time that they scored 34 points in the first quarter to about the 8-minute mark in this final quarter. They had only 35 points in between that. Since that time, they've now put up another 23 points in the last 5 minutes. So they are a team that can absolutely score in,
And on the flip side, Centennial being down nearly 20 points earlier, fighting their way back to lead, now finds themselves stuck 3, and this is going to be a fun finish.
Bury misses that 3. He's hit a few today, but not that one. And now it's rebounded by Centennial. Again, just a 1-possession game.
Yeah, maybe a little quick on the trigger from Bury there early in the shot clock. Yes, he was kind of open.
Parolin from the top of the key. Again, good job by Bury defensively, making his job hard.
I'd like to see Parolin go to the rim from the high post there. You can always get the jump shot, put the pressure on Bury to move his feet, draw the contact, Parolin.
Cho takes it to the hole. Upended there by Parolin, who brings the ball up.
Careful here, big man. Yeah, well done.
Kicks it back out in the hands of Petrescu.
No scalding on the floor currently for Centennial. Keep your eye on that substitution pattern and when they try and get him back in the game.
Parolin goes to the hole.
Can't
get it to go, but he will get the foul.
Put the pressure on the defense, big man. Go straight to the rim and make him foul you. Earn your points from the free throw line. Stop the clock and get it back to a tie game, or very close to it. Good awareness, Dominic Parolin.
That'll be the 5th and eliminating foul on Aiden McDonald, which is too bad for Fredericton, as he has put in a good effort in this fourth quarter in the team's comeback.
He's been a difference maker here and throughout the second half with some baskets in that third quarter. Now, as you mentioned, partner, in the fourth as well. So head down a little bit. Of course, always tough to foul out a game, especially one a tournament final as close as it is here this afternoon, this evening now. But nothing to be ashamed of. McDonald with a good effort.
Parolin makes his first of 2 from the line. Fredericton a little bit confused there. I think they still might play under the old 30 seconds with your team after a 5th and eliminating foul, but obviously in FIBA it's just 30 seconds to get a player on the court. Doesn't really allow for a timeout anymore as it used to. But
the old group up on the sideline, pseudo timeout. I remember I used to be a proponent of that, sometimes to a detriment.
So it's a 1-point game, 92-91. Fredericton leads it, and they have the ball. Bury fakes it up, goes in on Parolin, somehow gets it up and over the 6'9" all-star defender.
Wide body Norm Bury, fundamental basketball, right-hand drive, outside shoulder. Use the width of your body, big man, and those big shoulders to finish strong.
And there's Markowitz gets upended as he attempted to get into the lane. Oh, sorry, that was Paul Didenko. Number 15.
He's had some strong takes here, but maybe a little overzealous that time down. Good defensive positioning from Fredericton.
Bury thinks about taking another outside shot. Does virtually the same play again. Gets it to go a second straight time. This is not just any defender you have on here. You virtually have an all-BC player that you're playing up against there. What a couple of possessions there by Bury.
And Parolin sat on his right hand that time. Bury went to the spin move, though, to work his way back.
And won the other direction, though, from Dante Petrescu. I don't know if we've seen any real offense out of Petrescu today. He's played a lot on the floor, but he's been mostly a facilitator and a swingman out there, but he gets the hoop there.
He checked in for Skelding. Skelding looks like he might be dealing with a shoulder issue. He had such a great game out here today. Surprised not to see him on the floor for the last minute and a bit. Petrescu, though, with the strong take to keep it within touch.
It's back to just a 2-point game, 96-94.
Got to expect Christie to find the ball here. Yep.
And Norm Christie has it stolen away. Markowitz gets it up to Parolin, who has that swatted away. And, well, you talked about it, Davey. This game has resembled that of a heavyweight championship fight. Well, it looks like we are in the final round 15 here with 56.9 to go, just 2 points separating these two squads.
Hey, if you told me I was going to show up to a 96-94 game to call this quality level of basketball here this afternoon, I would have been more excited than I already was. We did kind of know what to expect from this Fredericton team. Centennial coming in as the #1 ranked team in this province. And both you and myself, partner, have seen a lot of high school basketball over the last, I'll say, even 20 years.
Yep.
This is one of the better high school basketball games I've seen in a long time.
Well, we had a classic in this tournament a couple years ago when Oak Bay was the #1 team at Triple A, or Quadruple A, and Brentwood College was the #1 team at Double A. I believe that led to a 1-point overtime game in which Brentwood somehow stole it away from Oak Bay. That was the only loss Oak Bay suffered en route to their Island Championship before losing in the Final Four that season.
I believe Brentwood College might have won the Double A
and I
Provincials
think Brentwood College
actually
won the title that year, so that was a classic. But it seems as though for the second time in the 4-year history of this tournament,
add another one to the
got
list.
An absolute classic here in the finals. All tied up, 96 all.
Extra pass, Christie.
And that one's deflected by Didenko as that was Alex Dunn trying to work his way into the paint.
Yeah.
16 seconds left on the shot clock.
Got to expect the ball to come back to Bury and/or Christie here.
Tumwine gets it back out to the top with
the patience. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Shot up, no good. As coming down the stretch, and there's a foul that is going to send Ethan Tumwine to the line. And the shot clock is now, could be dead, pardon me, as the 18 seconds remain on it if Fredericton should get the rebound after the second shot.
And that might have been close. I don't know if the shot grazed the rim there, but Tumwine able to dig out the rebound.
There was about 3 seconds left.
Was
so
it 3 seconds?
It
Good
was
eye,
still
partner,
on there, yeah. As they miss it and get the rebound. So just as I said, though, in the old format, the shot clock would have already been dead, but then
6-second differential here on the
Centennial
reset.
didn't need to foul there. That was interesting, but in the old system, they would have needed to foul because the shot clock would have been dead. But they're going to send him to the line and force Wang to make a
1-and-1 in FIBA, so he's going to get 2 opportunities here. Tumwine pulled the string a bit on that second free throw, but caused the long rebound. And the cross match here, Didenko boxing out Christie. He wasn't able to get enough of a body on him last possession. Big rebound here. No rebound necessary.
Does a good job, hits both shots. No timeout by Centennial. They need either a quick 2 or a 3 if they want to hold the ball.
Got to go to the rim here first.
And that ball is stolen away. Christie puts an exclamation mark on this one as Fredericton hits the Centennial mark for the second straight game, and looks like they might put Centennial into the second place seeding here in this tournament as a huge steal and dunk down the stretch for Malcolm Christie, who was absolutely instrumental in his team coming away with the win here today.
Wow.
As it looks like it might be now, Davey.
I got electricity running through my veins after seeing that. The steal and the jam, #2, as far as big thunder dunks go.
And you got to be confident. Doesn't matter how big you are with dunking the ball in a one-possession game with less than 20 seconds to go.
It looked like you could see him set his feet up at about the free throw line, and he went for it, and I tell you what, he got it.
Don't know who's in pursuit of you there.
Setting this building ablaze here. Malcolm Christie, welcome to the West Coast, my friend. Putting on a show. The Fredericton Black Cats roaring loud. With the steal and the dunk in transition, Malcolm Christie. Tell you what, one of the more impressive high school offensive performances we've seen. Going back to the Mafia days of last year. Christie, done it all.
8.7 seconds to go, and that shot is made there by Parolin. So it's back to a one-possession game. Great entry pass there.
Nice
that
timeout.
was well done.
ATO set there from Centennial. Quick hitting basket off the side out of bounds. Doesn't get much better than that.
I can almost guarantee that Fredericton will choose to advance the ball here. There's no advantage in keeping it in the backcourt, and they'd probably want to keep it as far away from their hoop as they can. So obviously Centennial's play will likely be to try a steal on the inbounds.
Still time here, 8.7.
And even if not, then they'll have to try and send Fredericton to the line.
I don't believe any timeouts left for Centennial. So that's going to limit their ability to advance the ball. But of course, as you said, they're looking for a steal off the side out of bounds, potentially a quick trap and steal as well. That's up to Coach Solero and Sachic's side, whether they're going to go for the trap and steal or they want to foul immediately on the catch if they don't get the live ball steal. So remains to be seen. And wow, what's turned out to be one of the best high school games I've seen in a long time, and I've seen a few of them.
Oh, here, partner, as this has been an absolute classic all the way through. You wondered after that first quarter if Fredericton might roll to a victory, but they not only had to find themselves in this fourth quarter, but hold on for dear life here down the stretch. And there's Burry with it on the inbounds, and he is fouled, so they will send number 15 to the line, and Norm Burry has put in an excellent effort, and really it was the two hoops that put them ahead down the stretch of this final quarter, going around Pearland on not one but two efforts to the basket that helped Burry possibly lead his team to victory today.
Yeah, we talked about Babeyev in the game earlier, being underrated, undervalued potentially. Norm Burry is really showing off the full display here, attacking what potentially the number one player in British Columbia and finishing strong here now with the touch from the line. Norm Burry, go get it, young fella.
Well, he made that a two-possession game with that first shot, and he makes it a 5-point game now, so that pretty much should close the door here. Centennial might get one last shot to possibly reach the 100 mark, and there's Pearland slipping on that City of Langford sign. It'll be rebounded by Beckway there. With 0.4 seconds to go, they're not going to take any chances, as both teams do indeed reach the century mark today. Davey, you wondered it, at an 85-80 scoreline with 5.5 to go, as both of these teams brought their offense and then some today, and it looks like Fredericton is going to come away about a shot better than Centennial, but not by much.
Ooh, one shot better, and you can go back to that, 34-point first quarter when Fredericton really was on fire. Couldn't miss and tearing up the bottom of the nets, and here they are at 103 points after 102 points last night.
Well, let's talk about the quarters that they put in. It was a 35-point first quarter and just a 34-point first quarter, 13-point second quarter, and then they had just 65 points at the break heading into the final quarter, so we're talking about a 38-point fourth quarter. So when you put up a 38-point fourth quarter, you're going to be a pretty hard team to beat if that's how you shoot in crunch time.
Impressive display from this Fredericton Black Cats team. What a victory, what a tournament win for the team from a long way away. But wow, did they rise up to the occasion.
So congratulations to both teams out there on the court today. That was a more than fun game to broadcast, as everybody in the stands giving them a hand in an ovation now, and they deserve it, as the great team out of Coquitlam, Centennial,
Nothing to hang their heads about today.
Nothing to hang their heads about. Not able to come away with their third tournament victory of the year after those big wins in the Howard Samura as well as the Pine Tree Christmas tournament last week. But they're going to have to settle for silver here today. And it's the Fredericton Black Cats out of Atlantic Coast coming all the way across coast to coast, one side of the nation to the other. They can dip this trophy in the Pacific before they leave and then dip it in the Atlantic when they get home if they choose to do so.
I tell you what a highlight for these young players from Fredericton to come all the way out here to Victoria. One, to play basketball at the highest level that they're playing at in high school, but to come away with a tournament victory. I tell you what, partner, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm impressed with what I've seen from this Fredericton Black Cats team. Coach Mike King, Bram Russell, Andy Wright, you guys, be proud of your boys here, top to bottom, this Fredericton Black Cats team. Wow, smile on my face watching this basketball team. That's what high school basketball is all about.
Well, I'm excited to kind of keep my eye on this team out east and some of the players that we got to see here today, as obviously we have the honor of broadcasting the UVic Vikes team regularly, and don't be surprised that if you hear some of these guys' names on the Atlantic coast or possibly throughout Canada, wherever they choose to go to university. I'm sure from the way that they play it out here, there would be a few coaches in Canada West who would love to extend an invitation to a couple of these players to
Yeah,
come on back out
absolutely.
west and play 5 years of university if they choose to do so.
Mike King's got his boys tuned up, and they're playing basketball at this modern game. Catch and shoot, 7 seconds or less, putting 100 points on the board like it's nobody's business in back-to-back games against quality lower mainland opponents.
Well, and you see obviously the relationship between Coach King of Fredericton and the athletic director here at UVic, Clint Hamilton. Clint obviously spent some time out at the University of New Brunswick as the men's basketball head coach, so I'm sure that this was one of the main factories that he would recruit his players from when he was out there, so that probably a likelihood of where the connection to why Fredericton came out here for this tournament. You don't just travel 3,000 miles across the country at Christmas time in Canada for nothing, and this team with the likes of Vernon, Van College, and Centennial in front of them conquered each one of those mountains, and they come away with the championship here today. It was another great tournament here over the Christmas holidays at the University of Victoria, the 4th annual Vikes Alumni Tournament. Look forward to the 5th edition, which I'm sure will be coming hopefully at Christmas time 2020.
High school basketball alive and well, not only in this province, but across this beautiful nation. Canada basketball on the up and up. High school basketball, University of Victoria. Wow, that was fun.
That was great, Davey, and thanks again for joining me on the broadcast here today as we look forward to the second half of youth sports again, as well as all the high school basketball to come. Many of the teams from British Columbia here today will likely find themselves playing at the Langley Events Center come March, as that will be where all of the provincial championships will be for all 4 boys sides. And stay tuned for more great basketball to come here in January, as we will kick off the 2020 side of the Vikes campaign here Friday night against the University of British Columbia Okanagan. For Davey Sunder, I'm Ryan Zabmary. Thanks again for joining us on SportsCanada.tv today. Congratulations to the Fredericton Black Cats winning the 2019